Hello everyone, I'm back. Today we're building an abandoned high school. And apologies for that little intro there. Music got a little bit intense. I was kind of trying to go for, a bit sort of like spooky, eerie vibes for Halloween. And yeah, that music, kind of did that. Anyway, I just really wanted to build something kind of abandoned that, maybe has a obviously it's not been used for a long time, so everything's kind of overgrown, everything's very dirty, lots of cobwebs. Maybe it's been used by some people have got in there and stayed there at some point, or maybe there's ghosts in there. I don't know. That's just the kind of spooky Halloweeny thing we're gonna do. But I kind of settled on making a high school mainly because I've actually wanted to make a high school for a long time, or a school, I suppose, but I've always been really unsure of what style to make the school, because I feel like obviously I'm here building in Copperdale on the lot where where the high school is, and I've always felt like obviously this lot and this world is just so American to me that an American style school is what would fit here. But so I've always been very kind of I've wanted to build something, then I wasn't sure if to make something kind of more British, what I'm more no, if you see what I mean, or whether to just make something kind of more Americanized, just because of the lot and everything around it. You can see just everything around it, the school bus, it's just kind of screaming American high school to me. So yeah, and I thought, you know what, let's build an abandoned one. So obviously it's kind of, this is a functioning, I say functioning, it has all the requirements to be a high school. So in theory, you could use this as your high school in your game if you wanted to. Whether your Sims can actually, obviously there's some barriers they might need to overcome, and also some of the classrooms, the tables are everywhere, the chairs are everywhere. So whether, your Sims aren't actually going to sit down at the tables, etc. But in theory, you could have this in your game as the high school for your Sims. But yeah, you might need to do a little bit of moving around just for them to be able to sit and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it'd be something kind of fun to do. So that's what we're going to do. As per usual, the lot did end up being way bigger than I thought it was going to be, as in the build. Because the lot size doesn't change, but the actual build itself is, it's huge. I just liked the shape of it, and then didn't really appreciate how big the space is inside, which, to be honest, I do that quite a lot, but I didn't then want to change the kind of exterior of it, so then I just thought, well, we're just going to have to go with it. Also, do excuse the kind of, you might see sometimes when I'm spinning around, random objects just placed at the back of the lot. That is just because when I first went on the game, I wanted to be able to save it, because I'm always so paranoid about losing my lot, because it's happened before. And anyway, so I'm always really paranoid. So, but you can't save this. It has to have all the lot requirements of being a high school to be able to save it, if that makes sense. So I just put down all the items which make it officially a high school so that I could save it. So those do disappear, obviously, once I put the items I want actually in the school, if that makes sense. But yeah, so like I said, it's going to be abandoned. And I kind of was I'm in it as well. It took me a while to decide on a few of the kind of design features as well. Obviously, I knew I wanted to use this path coming in because it's you can make it look really old and cracked, the stone. Then you can put some little weeds growing through it. That's kind of fun. But I kind of was unsure on the landscaping, because in my head I'm if something's abandoned, if there's a building that's not been used for a long time, it's actually going to be really overgrown, and there's going to be lots of weeds, lots of plants growing, especially on the building itself. But yeah, I kind of, when it came to the trees, I don't know why I settled on trees that actually weren't overgrown, the opposite of that, that actually were just kind of bare, they have no leaves at all, they're just branches and a trunk. Because I don't know, I just kind of felt that seemed better. As soon as when I tried putting a tree down which had loads of leaves, it just made it look really luscious, even though actually it would just be however it is, right? If there's a tree growing, the tree would be growing, it's, it would have leaves if it was growing, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know, I just felt in The Sims it just was giving too luscious vibes, which is hard to ignore in this lot, because basically either side of it, we've got like, obviously this part of the world is all built up to be this big kind of like complex in a way, because obviously you've got the auditorium to the side, then you've got the car park to the other side, so there's like loads of bushes and stuff, so it's kind of hard to make this lot completely look, it's like just this school is just like completely abandoned, and everywhere around it is like perfectly pristine. Kind of doesn't make sense, but anyway, is what it is. I really wanted to build it here because I wanted it, because it just made sense, But yeah, so you'll see I opted for these trees that are just kind of like, have no leaves basically, but I just kind of felt like it worked, like the idea of the trees looking like that. I don't know, maybe, I don't know what you guys think. It just made it feel a bit more like, ooh, like what's going on here? Just seem a bit more, eerie, just a little bit more spooky kind of feel. You know what I mean? Like, anyway. Obviously, we've got the new pack coming out this week, which is pretty exciting. Always exciting having a new expansion pack. I'm also really excited to see what items there are that I can use to update the cemetery I did a couple of weeks ago, which I won't make a new video, obviously, because I just feel like it would only be, obviously, some item changes. I don't feel like that would make like a video length, if you know what I mean, like version. Anyway, so I will update the lot and put it on the gallery, because I just feel like this pack is going to give us some great items for a cemetery, especially like obviously the gravestones, and then basically I've seen that there's a item which is like a picture of someone with like flowers by it, and I'm like, that's like perfect kind of like to have on by the graves and stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. But if I'm honest, like I'm kind of, because that pack's coming out so late on Halloween, obviously it's not a Halloween pack, but it kind of fits with the season of, well, I guess it just kind of fits with this kind of season. But I'm kind of, it's like I'm kind of done with it though now. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of I know it's like I said, it's just like for other gameplay stuff, and in general, it's a pack that we can use for other stuff. But, like it's got items which I'd have liked to have used for builds now. Like there's like windows really cracked, I think, like glass all broken, which would have been perfect for this build. But I'm kind of done with that now. I'm ready to move on from spooky or more kind of, like I say, builds that are inspired by this season. So yeah, I don't know, I just feel like it's come a bit late. Like I'm kind of done with that now, so moving on. I feel like I've done, and like I said before, like I've done so many Halloweeny things this year, like so many more than I've ever done before, that I'm ready for it to, I'm ready for it to be done, because like I have so many pumpkins in my house right now. We went to a pumpkin patch and picked a pumpkin, which it was a really cool pumpkin actually, because it was quite small, but it had a lot of green in it. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, we got that pumpkin from a pumpkin patch, which was super, 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 super muddy. And it's just like one of those things where you feel like, oh, this is going to be like a really fun activity to go and do. And then you get there and it's like really muddy. There were cars getting stuck in the mud trying to get out, and children just like falling in these huge muddy puddles, just like drenched in mud. And just like parents just like, oh, why did we go here? But it was fun nonetheless. We weren't there that long, I can't lie. And we ended up getting our pumpkin for free, which was pretty cool. So it was a good free day out. But yeah, I've carved that. Got these kind of like little candles. They're not real candles, kind of like battery candles you can get, like to put in the window. And then, yeah, I made some like pottery ones with my friend, which have actually turned out really cool. Wasn't really sure how they were going to go when they'd gone in the kiln, but they've come out looking like kind of like vibey, like not like perfect pumpkins, which is the look we were going for, because like they kind of just come out as they come out, don't they? So the colour is like not completely, it's kind of like marbly like texture, do you know what I mean? So it's not like completely solid colour. So I don't know, it just makes it look a bit more real. They're kind of cool. Anyway, so I've got loads of pumpkins and yeah, just stuff everywhere. Stuff like that everywhere, little ghosties, just things like this. So I don't know if we've kind of zipped past this, but you may have noticed that when we came into the inside of this build, we suddenly like just jumped to doing some toilets. Now, I don't know what happened, but I lost a little bit of footage when I went inside this build and was building. So you basically don't see me build the main entrance in the first couple of classrooms. And what else there is that we don't see me build is like changing rooms, which are attached to the sports hall. So as I'm moving around, you'll be able to see the layout of this build, but it's pretty simple. You basically come through the main front doors, and then you're in this big sort of foyer, and there's stairs going up either side to the next level, and then the corridor just goes the full length either end of the school, if that makes sense. And then on each end there is like two big halls. So one of them is like the gym hall, sports hall, and the other one is the food hall, like the canteen. But yeah, I don't know why I lost some of that footage. So, but like I said, as I'm spinning and stuff, you'll be able to see some of the things that weren't shown. I only actually show one classroom. It's one of the classrooms upstairs being built, just because there are so many classrooms, and they're all different, like in the sense of they're messed up differently. Things are here, there, and everywhere differently, but essentially they're all the same. They've got the same items in them, like furniture. So what you've seen me do is basically there's some toilets down here, then we've got like a kind of janitor's space, and then this is a little library, which the books are kind of everywhere. And you'll see me spend a lot of time making the walls very grubby and putting lots of like the mould stuff and cracks in the walls, just to make it look really old and tattered, some cobwebs, and just to look like it's a bit of a mess. But like I say, it still obviously had to kind of look like a school, do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of vibe we're going for. So yeah, so you'll see that you go all the way along the corridor, and then you turn, and then you come into the big canteen space, which is huge, and yeah, it turns out to be quite messy. You'll see me jump around a little bit with the mess as well, because I kind of do it in stages, because I've kind of gone around and used all the items that are just in kind of the buy catalogue to make mess in all the rooms so far. And then obviously we've got all the kind of food items. I don't know what food items, but like, you know, the kind of food rubbish that we got with Eco Lifestyle. And then, because that's in debug, I kind of do that in chunks, if that makes sense. When I get to that bit, I kind of go around dotting bits around, because I think that really adds to the kind of like mess. And just, like I said, like, you know, I feel like, you know, some points people have probably like broken into the school and like you use it as a hangout space or whatever, you know, just like through time, because it's abandoned. It's just kind of been like, yeah, like people just done whatever they want with it. So yeah, so big canteen hall, which I kind of just think with the curtains. I don't know what like you think about it, but I use these big curtains and kind of just make them all a bit slightly different heights and a bit like, I don't know, not uniform and not everywhere, because I kind of wanted to create the idea that they would have had these huge curtains that could go around all the big windows, but they've been like ripped or broken or like falling down. So that's the kind of effect that I was going for with the curtains. In all the other rooms, I've just used those ripped curtains that we got with the kind of spooky, that like Halloween, is it a kit pack or is it a stuff pack? Really, really old, like we got ages and ages ago, and I use that whenever I'm doing something like this kind of style, because I feel like there would be curtains, obviously originally in this school, or blinds or whatever, but that they've been like ripped. So that's kind of the easiest way to, for me to create that basically. But yeah, so you'll see that there is lockers as well, like all the way along the full length corridors that go like from one side of the school all the way to the other. And then, yeah, mess. So you'll see there's some classrooms, and that's kind of like to the left of the canteen is like a little, I don't know, maybe kind of like a common room, very small, just a kind of more a space that maybe you could hang out if, you know, the older kids have that space. I don't know, you know, something like this. And then, yeah, I decided that this room would be a kind of sports hall, which, I'll be honest, is really bare. I was like, couldn't decide for a long time if I was going to add in kind of seating, like platform seating up either side. But because I wanted doors out into the kind of courtyard, I'm going to call it outside, was kind of like outside space. And I also wanted to keep the windows. So I just was like, I'm not going to do it. Whether there was kind of like one that, in my mind, what there would have been is one that kind of, I'm going to say fold away. But you can get those ones that look like they're made of metal and a bit more of a structure that you probably could like deconstruct. That's what I'm going for, and that's just been tidied away, and that's why there's no seating in there, because I feel like there would be, if there's like basketball games or whatever. So yeah, so then we've jumped upstairs now, so you'll see it's exactly the same layout, the corridor is exactly the same. So I'm just showing you me doing that just because I felt bad about you not seeing it downstairs. So basically I thought, well, I'll show up here because I lost the footage downstairs, and it's kind of like, it's exactly the same. So that's quite a good shot from up above. You can see the layout of it. And then obviously there is another set of stairs that go up, and they're kind of not as obvious, if that makes sense, because they're the stairs up to basically the staff area where there's like a load of offices and the principal's office and like a staff room. So that's more where the staff go. Obviously, in my mind, the students go and visit the staff sometimes in their offices. So that's when they'd go up, but it's not like this big kind of, I don't know, like it feels more grander, the space where the stairs are for the main school area and like getting to the different classrooms. So yeah, so those stairs are just kind of like sandwiched between some more toilets. How exciting for them. But yeah, I've had quite a busy weekend, guys, last weekend, because I found something that I'm able to do, which is just completely niche, completely random. And that is making digger cakes that look like diggers. And this is the second one I've made now, because I made one for a child's second birthday, like a little while ago now. And because their child is super, super obsessed with diggers. And I thought, and I'd seen this picture online of someone who'd made this digger cake, and I thought, you know what, that is really doable. But their mum is like, I don't bake, I can't cook, can't do anything. So she was like, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, well, do you want me to do it? Because I could give it a go. I feel like it's doable. Anyway, went down a treat, and someone else's little boy I know, his birthday was last weekend, and we were just talking one day, and she was saying about how she was trying to find a cake, like looking around at prices for cakes, getting a cake made, and how expensive it was. And I was like, well, does he like diggers? Because I can make a digger cake. So yeah, I made another digger cake, went down a treat again. But I have to say it was much more difficult last time. It's just, I find baking, I love baking, enjoy it. But it's one of those things that, there's certain things you don't have control over. Like, I made icing exactly the same way as I did the first time I made it, and exactly the same way I make icing whenever I make icing. But yeah, when I was trying to apply it, it just was just being so annoying. It just wasn't doing what it normally does. And it's like, just the slightest difference in whatever was in the icing, it just did not. Anyway, we made it work in the end. Trial and error. A few times putting it in the fridge. I find that really helps. Keep putting it in the fridge, just let a bit set, and then. But anyway, so that was fun. So now I just feel like, whenever someone needs a cake, I'm just gonna offer a digger cake, because it's really effective, and everyone's like, whoa, that looks impressive. But it's actually not. It looks more impressive than it is to make. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of it kind of works, Anyway, so you'll see that I'm right upstairs in the top floor now, which is just that kind of middle, I'm gonna call it tower bit, central bit of the school itself. And yes, there's basically a few little offices which are all the same along one side. And yeah, I put chairs in because I always have memories of, if you're going to go to your teacher to speak about something, or you're getting feedback about something after an exam or whatever, that there'd kind of be that space for a student to sit and talk to their teacher or another staff member or whoever, to go and, chat to them. And then just loads of books. I just felt like there'd be loads of books everywhere. I put so many bookcases in the principal's office that is the principal's office is huge. Like huge, but because of the shape of it, I didn't want to I didn't want to change the shape, and that meant that it had to remain that huge. So at first I was like, maybe they'd have like a secretary and then like a separate bit for their office, but I just was like, I feel like that's overkill, but maybe that's something I should have done, because I feel like that is a thing, especially with the speaker, because they have the little like tannoy announcement speakers, don't they? So yeah, maybe I should have done that. But anyway, the principal gets a very luxurious office that's basically pretty empty, because I feel like there would be more, like, I feel like the desks are just not I don't know, they'd probably have like a really, really big desk, but the desks in the Sims aren't particularly big, so put it in a room, it just kind of looks kind of small. But yeah, I also opted for the windows I use on this lot are probably not the windows I would have gone for, kind of to fit with the style of the build almost, but I use these ones because obviously you get the version with glass in it and then the version which is kind of completely broken, which I kind of thought helped to create a more abandoned style look for the build. Like I said, the new pack we're getting, I'm pretty sure, has got windows with smashed glass and stuff, which is going to be perfect for future builds like this, or builds that you want to make look tatty, because I do enjoy it, you know. There's something satisfying about building something to look ruined or like look, I don't know, like it just look, I don't know, like I find it quite hard to make builds that look perfect or like, you know, a pristine. Like I like to be able to put wear and tear and yeah, just like make it feel a bit more used and run down. So yeah, you'll see, like, look how big their like office is, and it's just one desk and then it's just loads and loads of bookshelves, but it's fine. It's just, you know, that's just what they've got. And then they've got a lovely little toilet here. Obviously they can use the toilets downstairs too, but I thought they'd best have their own toilet up here too. And I've used the same doors for like all the rooms apart from the bigger rooms which have the kind of double door entrance. So like the classrooms, the toilets, janitor's office, changing room, they all have the same doors, which are the doors which have like glass windows in. So in all the like the changing rooms and the toilets, I've put a blind to basically cover so you can't see through. Even though like obviously that would be so ridiculous in a school. Can you imagine how many kids would just open the blind so people can see you in the toilet and stuff like that, and changing rooms? So anyway, that's like super unrealistic, but I just, when I talk about this a lot, okay, and I'm aware of that, but when you build with not the smallest wall height, having a door is so limited. Doors, like not exterior doors, are really limited, I think, because if you just use a normal door, like normal height door, interior door, it just looks so small and I can't deal with it. So I tend to always use this door. There's one other that's like just about I can like kind of handle, but that just wouldn't kind of fit with this build, if you know what I mean. It's more of a like house door. So yeah, I've used it, but like I said, I've covered it up with little blinds, so you know, it should be fine. Anyway, I will leave you with some screenshots and see you in the next one. Bye.